Everybody says that rent control protects tenants, but what if I told you it's the other way around? It actually protects the landlords. And tenants are actually worse off for having rent control. So let's talk facts. Ontario has rent control, and this is only applicable to buildings that are built on or before November 15, 2018. That means annual rents are capped at whatever is predetermined, 2.5% for 2025. No matter what happens with interest rates, no matter what happens with property taxes or insurance costs, your rents are capped at 2.5% because you have rent control. Most people assume that when you have rent control, it actually helps the tenant and hurts the landlord. But it's the other way around. Look at the cap rates that are being charged for rent-controlled buildings versus non-rent controlled buildings. You will find that rent-controlled buildings actually have lower cap rates than non-rent controlled buildings. But how is that possible? It's lower because it stabilizes the cash flow, reduces turnover, and creates what is called a gap to market. So there's actual potential value being locked into those leases. And that is gold for investors. Owners who get in early are sitting on undervalued, under-rented, and appreciated assets. New investors, they're priced out, or they have to overpay for these properties. And that's how you get a low cap rate. But what about all the development that is going on in the city? Well, let's dig into it. Would you build a 300-unit building in Toronto if you can't raise rents when your costs go up? That's exactly why developers walk. Rent control actually chokes the math. So what do you get? You get no new supply coming into the marketplace. You get soaring rents on exempt units, and first-time renters getting crushed. Here's what nobody wants to say. Rent control only helps people that already have a place. Everyone else, good luck. It creates a locked-in class of tenants that already have low rents, while the rest of the market explodes because there's no supply coming online. And this gap, it actually grows every year. It's not that it's unfair, it's actually unsustainable. And the people who get hit the hardest by this are your students, your single moms, your low-income earners that are trying to get a roof over their head. So how do smart investors play this game? They buy under-rented properties. This is your gap to market. They improve units and reposition tenants. This is where all these illegal evictions come from. They're trying to make money on an asset that they have overpaid for. And they use rent-controlled income to lock in cheap financing for these projects. And this is not about being greedy. It's about surviving the system that is created. Because if you wait for government to fix this housing issue, you'll be waiting forever. The government has already downloaded their social housing mandate onto individual investors using the rent control system. Let's be real, Ontario doesn't have a rent problem. We have a supply crisis. And rent control as it stands is fuel on the fire. It locks up units, it blocks development, and it leaves tenants fighting over scraps. If you're tired of band-aid policies and really want to talk about how housing works, hit the follow button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is rent control the solution, or is it the reason we're stuck? Let's have the hard conversation. The problem isn't going to fix itself with 1980s thinking.